What's hard is when you're not hearing his voice at times. Feels like every prayer you send up is just getting trapped in the ceiling fan, you know what I mean? And you don't hear it. Well, I just want to remind you tonight that even in those days when it seems like you're in this dry and barren land and you're not hearing from God, to stay faithful in the things that you do know. Because there's going to come a day when you hear from him. You just keep on the straight and narrow. So when you don't know what to do, just keep doing what you do know to do until you then know what to do. Yeah? I'll never forget laying in the hospital Easter weekend, April of 2020. I had that stupid virus for 12 days and actually was diagnosed on April Fool's Day. Isn't that a blessing? And I had just finished this record and we were releasing it on Good Friday, April 10th. And on the night of April 9th, my doctor came to my house because I was in quarantine, of course, and I had climbed 3 steps to get to this little loft guest room that we had in this rental house we were staying in. And after just 3 steps, I had to stop and lean against the wall because I could hardly breathe. And my wife called my doctor, and he comes over, he goes, "Oh, great." He said, "Well, it's no longer fun and games. This has gone to your lungs and you've got severe double pneumonia. I got to send you to the hospital." I said, "When?" He goes, "Right now." I got there, had no idea how serious it was. They did a blood test and came in and told me I should be dead. Now, that's an encouraging word from your doctor. She said, "I don't understand. Your blood work is horrible." She said, "You're not even on a ventilator. You should be on a ventilator." My oxygen levels were just hovering around 82, 81. She said, "You're real close, buddy. We're going to monitor you real close." So I'm laying there on this hospital bed and I'm watching the whole world shut down. And the last thing I'm thinking about is, I could die from this. I'm just angry at the whole deal. I was frustrated. I was disappointed. I was lonely. I'm there by myself, because nobody can come. And I've got all this anxiety going through my life and my heart. And, I'm just frustrated. And then I had this bright idea, Michael. I thought, I'm the first guy in this town with this virus. If I pray and ask the Lord to heal me, and really believe in all my heart that he's going to, I believe he's going to heal me. And so I crawl off the bed, and I've got all these wires hooked to me, and I'm kneeling at the side of the bed, and I'm just asking God for a miracle. And I'm praying like I've never prayed in my life. I'm just praying for a miracle, because I keep thinking, man, if the whole city finds out that I got miraculously cured from COVID-19, it'll hit worldwide news. And God, you're going to be famous over this, God. And the more I prayed, the worse I got. And by about 2 or 3 in the morning, I don't know how long I knelt there, but I was feeling the worst I felt. And the next morning, they come and do more blood work, and she says, "Well, your blood work's worse today than it was yesterday." I said, "Well, I don't know what to do." And they didn't know what to give me. I was just taking Tylenol and potassium. That was it. I was so frustrated because I prayed most of the night for God to heal me, and he didn't. In fact, I was getting worse. I don't know if you've ever had a moment like that with God. You can't understand it. And that morning, I just began to listen to some worship songs. In fact, that morning I listened to the album that had been released at midnight that night that I'd worked 8 months on, and we'd written a ton of songs for it. I figured, well, nobody else knows it's out. I might as well listen to it myself. And so I listened to my own record from top to bottom that day, downloaded on Apple Music so somebody would get credit, And I began to listen to that thing. And I was amazed at all the songs that God had given us a year prior that were suddenly speaking to me. You see, I've been praying this whole time, that whole night, that God would heal me. And faith and everybody's faith around me would be deepened or even enlightened. And it suddenly dawned on me that morning, Good Friday, the morning that Jesus went to the cross, for crying out loud. It finally dawned on me that maybe, just maybe, instead of me praying to get healed so that my faith would be deepened, that I should deepen my faith, and then maybe He'll heal me. You see, I had it backwards. Because faith is the evidence of things unseen, the substance of things hoped for. So I turned a corner that day, not physically, but just in my spirit. And I just began to thank God. I just began to worship the Lord, not for COVID, but just in COVID. And I began to look back at all the things I've been teaching these worship students all these years, and I realized I wasn't living it myself. So I just began to worship. And I got to song number 4 on this new record, which ironically, the record's called I Was Made for This. But I get to track number 4. And it's like the Lord just brought healing to me. Not physically, no. In fact, the next 14 days were the worst of my life. Blood clots in my legs and all kinds of mess. But the healing here had begun. And I began to worship the Lord through this fountain. And I discovered all over again what worship really is. It's not a song. It's me shooting an arrow of love straight to the heart of God. And it's His response to my praise that ends up, now this is just crazy to me, because praise and worship is to the Lord, and yet it's for us. Who does our worship bless? It blesses the Lord, but what does He do in return? He turns around and blesses you. And that's exactly what I experienced in that hospital bed. And a smile came to my face for the first time in 14 days. I want to give you that song because I just want to remind you tonight. I just want to remind you that no matter what you're going through, good days and bad, sometimes you gotta go through a little war to appreciate the peace. Sometimes you have to walk a valley to really fall in love with mountaintops. So if that's you, walking through a moment in your life that's pretty dark, I just want to remind you all over again that the Savior we worship has not turned His back on you. You stay faithful, and I promise you, He'll bring you through.
When you walk through the storm, hold your